Welcome to the show. It's called The Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com, Facebook, YouTube. We are in the house like a child on punishment. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, world. And we're back from an extended weekend as we have every weekend because we're special. How was your weekend, Carol?
I worked some. It was good.
It was good?
I did that walk.
Oh, that's right. You went downtown with all the
you have to
protesters.
support. If you don't support, what good is it? I mean, they were down there getting kids to people signing up. These kids were to vote.
Registering to vote? Cool.
Yes, these kids are serious.
Yeah, well,
if they think these kids are going to forget about this, they're not.
Yeah.
They want them to. They're like giving threats and this and that, but I felt great doing this. I think more people need to get out there. I mean, there was a lot of us, but D.C. blew me away. Yeah,
they projected like 1 million plus people there in D.C.
There were so many people, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they could count them all, to be honest. There was a lot here.
There's
because we were going down 2 streets. There was Pershing Square.
Yeah.
I think they did this intentionally. They said the march was going to start on Spring.
Mm-hmm.
So all the people on Pershing Square didn't know that we were over at Spring, but see, the protesters were on the side of Spring because that's where they thought it was starting. So Pershing Square was packed. And it was funny because they didn't know we were coming down Spring. Mm-hmm. But so it was interesting when we...
Two different groups spread out over a wider area.
Yeah, there was more in the Pershing Square, which was good because the cops didn't want it to get all congested. And they were smart because... I think there might have been trouble because these protesters had some pretty bad signs.
Yeah. I was down there. I dropped off some people. They weren't going down to the march. They were going to the Central Market.
Yeah.
And dropped them off there, which was right in the area near Spring. And then I picked up a family who are from D.C. and dropped them off at their hotel. And they didn't come in from D.C. specifically for the march. They were here on spring break. It was a mom and 2 or 3 of her children.
It was nice seeing all these kids out there. It would have been nice to see more adults.
Yeah.
And the protesters, there were some signs that would have really pissed you off. And like I told you, one of them, she wasn't being paid.
Yeah, well, this one guy I saw out there with a baseball cap on and a small American flag over his mouth, and all you could see was just basically his eyes.
Oh, see, that isn't the one I seen. He had it wrapped around him, and then he had Trump.
And then he had a bullhorn.
But we ignored him.
Yeah, he was shouting out stupid stuff, and people were walking by giving him the bird.
We just totally ignored him. I mean, they didn't want me to take pictures, but I hurried up and snatched those pictures of the protesters.
Yeah.
And they just told me because they would use that as an excuse. I wanted to say, no, Trump pays them to get into the crowd and do something, but our crowd was very good.
Yeah.
No fighting. It just gets so packed, though, that I can't stay for the speeches. It's so packed, you're like this, and then you start thinking, what if somebody does what they did in Vegas?
Yeah.
Because they don't check you for weapons.
Well, they can't check.
There's too
check
many
the people in buildings and hotels and stuff like they did in Vegas. I mean, it's just almost
impossible.
impossible.
I thought it was just me, and I said something to a young girl yesterday because she didn't make it down there. She said, I'd be scared. I said, it's funny because I was looking at the top of those high buildings trying to see if maybe there was someone up there.
Yeah.
And then I found out my cousin was doing the same thing.
Well, there's probably people up there, but it's probably...
But if you guys want to
FBI.
see change, you all need to get out there and protest.
Yeah.
They say this was the biggest march since Vietnam or something?
Really?
It was all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. People
It's all over the world. And it's great signs on Trump.
What is this thing that just popped up on my Facebook is CRTV, which is some nutball whack jobs that are trying to discredit Democrats and people that are protesting
they're trying to take our electoral votes.
Well, I don't give a damn about that, but that's because I think it's a little
we need those electoral votes.
Yeah, but I think that system is a little antiquated. Something needs to be done about that. But
you have a lot of Republicans that are in office that are not running.
Yeah, well, they know it's the end of the road. They know that, and they don't agree with this president. So that's another thing. Well, let me. Looks like the crew is checking in here. So let me bring in Chris first. Chris, what's up, buddy?
Yes, boom, shakalaka. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Great, man. Great. How was your weekend?
Fantastic, fantastic. Not too shabby. I want to real quick ducktail on what Carol was talking about, the marches that we saw this weekend. I think were very inspiring. And the youth pretty much are saying, we're not going to take it.
No, they're
And
not.
the fact that they're marching, and they're marching for our lives, as you know, and I thought was a great turnout. They mentioned about over 800,000 that were coming out and more. And what I like about side stories is that in Wisconsin, they're going to take it further. These same students who are marching on behalf of gun violence and things of that nature and voters' rights, they're going to continue to march towards what's it called, the area of where Paul Ryan is. Because Paul Ryan is from Wisconsin, he's a House Speaker,
Right.
and they want to take another hike to his area to let them know that look, it just doesn't stop on a march on Sunday. We'll keep on going. So
Sure.
I commend them tremendously, man. They're just fantastic.
Well, you see, I think this one struck a nerve with the shooting down in Florida, because these are teenagers. They're not, elementary school kids, and Columbine was a high school, but that was a different era. And, the chain reaction from all of these shootings at schools and public places and parks and what have you has really, scared the crap out of people.
Well-
and we should be afraid.
Walking with
That's
these
right.
kids and listening to them, they're tired. And they're not.
course.
These kids look at each other as this one color. They don't look at black or white.
Well, no, because that
and
bullet
that's
doesn't
that's
care.
what I enjoyed. And I was listening to kids talk. They say it's the adults that trip like that, but they're not going to trip like that.
Well, they've been frightened to the point
I mean-
where they don't want to go to school because they don't feel safe.
They are scared.
And they should be. There's a reason for them feeling that way, because
Kids
look
here
at
are
what's
scared. Rain's scared.
happening. Yeah,
She said because you don't know who you're sitting in school with now.
that's true.
You don't know who said they paint this rain sign was different than a lot of kids. She had it about the kid that quit acting like she was basically telling you quit acting like he's this nice little white kid, telling what a great kid he was. She put he's a terrorist.
He is.
And the press took pictures of that because hers was different than a lot of them because that's how she felt. Because remember, her cousin got killed from guns. They shot her with a shotgun because they went after the most popular, and they shot her with a shotgun. They couldn't even have a funeral open with anything because they basically blew her face off and they plunged into her and her friends.
When was this and where?
About a year, 2 years ago now, maybe.
Really?
Rain's cousin. And these kids are tired now. I mean, listening to Jennifer Hudson,
Yeah.
I think we all forgot. I mean, I did
Yeah,
at
she had-
times
she
that
lost
she
three
lost
family
her
members.
mother, her nephew, her brother.
Right.
Listening to her sing, when I heard that on TV, she blew me away. That woman, she blew you away. You wanted to cry. And
Yeah.
listening to the little Martin Luther King, I think it's his great-granddaughter or something, and then the little black girl that spoke. You got to listen to these kids. The one from South Central, the Latin girl. I think it's great seeing kids unite and not letting anybody separate them, because I have to agree. I think adults cause a lot of that separation. And you're always going to have some white kids or black kids or Hispanic that don't want to go along with it, because we had that on the train going down. There was a young black guy that was on there, and he was telling all of us, it don't matter what y'all match for. They're not going to get our guns. Just being real ignorant. But I think he decided it was best to shut up.
He got the message.
He
huh?
waited to get off that train because it was
Yeah.
the last stop.
Yeah. Well, some
Because he
people,
was running his mouth for no reason. Nobody was bothering
Well, that's
him.
just ignorance. There are people who have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, and then they've got a twisted point of view on it. But you know what? That's okay, because that's what makes America great.
You want to hear something really funny, though?
What?
Some dog must live downtown. This big, huge poodle with ribbons in his hair. Come walking by, but he wasn't with anybody. Everybody's like, is that your dog?
He was.
He was by himself. He probably lives in one of the places down there because, that's a
got loose,
popular
huh?
area now.
Yeah.
And it was just cute seeing a dog in there marching on his song. And it was cute seeing kids like around 8 years old have signs saying, well, in so many years, I'll be able to vote.
That's
So
right.
I think it's created younger people realizing We got to vote. We
Yeah.
got to get every kid that's turning 18. Even my client yesterday, I said, have you registered? She said, I'm not sure. I said, well, you need to check. So
She's
you
not
check
sure,
on
that
her.
means
You
no.
check on her.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she needs to get registered.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been a great awakening.
It is. When
To
you
young
see
people.
kids speak better than older people.
Yeah. I hear some future Congress members and maybe even a president out of this. Who knows? You just don't know. But certainly they are clear in their point of view, and they're sick and tired of being scared, and they want to focus in on learning and not worrying about somebody coming
Well,
into their
there was
schools.
one white kid that spoke, and this is what he talked about. He said he's tired of seeing when black kids do the same thing a white kid does at school. He said they punish them different. And he said he's tired of that. We're all the same.
Yeah.
So I like the fact these kids are trying to change a lot of things.
Well, that's what it takes.
But listen to
to
the little,
the young people.
the one little girl. Listen
Yeah.
to what she's telling you.
Yeah.
How people shoot a black kid. Maybe she brought up, I think Chicago or somewhere. And then people just ignore it. It's
it's
just
not important.
forgotten a week
Yeah.
later. But these kids are not going to let you forget from now on. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I
Anything
hope
they
you're
see
right.
happening, they're going to go after it.
Alpha, welcome to the show. What's up, buddy?
Well, good morning and good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
The march was good. The march was great. Their message was great. The people who participated and the millions around the world who participated
Yep.
were spot on.
Now,
I've
let me ask you a question, and I know you're very tuned in to things like this. I mean, this was a great showing, example. It was a movement or a moment. But do you think this is a movement? A moment is something that happens right now and then it ends. Do you think that the message was loud and clear and inspiring enough for this to continue?
Yes, it's going
I think
to
the
continue.
message was
I just had to say that.
I
I
didn't.
was there with those kids.
I just wanted to let you finish. That's all.
Yeah.
So what
I
do you
think
think,
that
Alpha?
I think that the message was loud and clear. I think that the intent is loud and clear. However, just as all of it comes down to, you see the right sits back, not totally sit back, but they sit back and they wait for the wave to wash over the people. Then they begin to come in with their nonsense. You've got a sitting congressman who jumped in and called the girl a Cuban, a communist. She didn't even speak Spanish. You know, they attacked these kids as though they were the enemy, as though they were communists. He called her a communist. You've got Rick Santorum, former Republican vice president candidate, saying, instead of trying to change the law, why don't they learn CPR? As
that
if
was stupid.
CPR were okay, but my point is simply this. If you continue to get that kind of over-the-top pushback, that's not even logical, sensible. What will it take for these young people, these older people, and these grown people to realize this is a war? I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it over and over again. You can talk about the let's all get together in kumbaya, but this is a damn war. And if you don't come to fight, don't show up at all. And they have until now, between now and November, to use their money to persuade the perception of those who would normally support them. That's just like women and the atrocities of the Trumps and the right-wing men. He still won a lot of female votes because they put their money in and they won back the perception of these women who voted for Trump. Hispanics voted for Trump. after he called them what he did. They do their biggest dirt early. So there's a length of time we have to go before November gets here. This is coming up on April. So you'll have all of April, May, June, July, August, September, October. You'll have 8 months. You'll have, seven plus months. So they can change your perception. And when people don't understand the role that Facebook played, the role that Cambridge Analytica has played in our political discourse, they are on the hook. You have a corrupt Justice Department headed by Sessions. Who is going to prosecute these offenders? Cambridge Analytica is an offender. They sent foreigners into statewide elections to work on the campaigns. You got the Mercers who use foreign money and funneled it in to these campaigns. You've got the Trumps who not only conspired against America and all the little satellites he has around him he calls surrogates. This is treason of the highest order. And when you really sit back and this is a fight for not just the murder of young people, because black people get murdered every day. And it took this to kickstart a real discussion about weapons and the banning of assault weapons and the whole 9 yards. And it's comical because the picture that they showed of the bomber in Texas, that was a high school picture. The guy was 24 years old. He's got a picture when he's grown. He's got a blonde color carrot top head, and it's just not an accurate portrayal. Now, they didn't charge the police for shooting and killing Alton Sterling. They are not going to charge the two police officers who shot this man unarmed man in his grandmother's backyard 20 times and then turned off the audio on their video cams, on their body cams. They turned the audio off. This is called consciousness of guilt. And if you are doing things that prove that you've done this on purpose, needlessly, there was no ramp down the confrontation. They weren't trying to turn down the tension. He's a black man. You shoot him dead first and then you ask questions later. I would think that everybody would be sick of this, not just the young people. The old people should be sick of this, and not because there is a racial entity here. You should be sick of this because there is race involved. And if you think there's not race involved, and if you're sick of race being involved, race is in the DNA of this nation. And we are all old enough to know that. And so why should it continue? Because it's being taught when they are young. It's being carefully taught. And that's all the politics I want to speak of today.
Well, actually, those people protested at the game. They protested at the game, I think, was it Oakland or Frisco at the arena?
Really?
People couldn't even get into the game. They lined up whites, blacks, Asians over that shooting.
They blocked off interest to the basketball game.
See, because I seen that right away when it happened. It hit the news. in that when the guy, because whether he was breaking in cars or not or windows, that was no excuse to shoot him 20 times.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
to
and
listen,
there was no
you
proof.
have to listen to his grandmother because she says something we would all say is, why couldn't you have shot him in his leg? Listen to her speech.
Why
on
did you have to
news.
shoot, period?
Yeah. I mean,
If he was white, you wouldn't have just
No,
flat
they
out
shoot
shot?
white people out here too. It's
Yeah,
not just
right.
blacks that
Yeah.
get shot. I live
Well,
out here.
Yeah, yeah.
that-
I've had white friends killed by police.
How about 12? How about
Especially-
20 to 1 they
especially out
shoot
at
white
our
people?
beach area,
They
'cause
shoot white people 20 to 1, and nobody
I'm not gonna
stands
argue
up and
about
says,
color with
oh,
you.
you shut
I have to go along with these
You,
kids.
you don't
and
need to argue
erase
about
all
color.
this
I am
color.
convinced.
That's what these kids are doing.
You
They're
are
gonna,
in
they're
denial.
Going to change things. It's not going to be all this. That's what they're trying to do. And I have more respect for them than listening to older people give speeches because these kids are very serious. Where I walked, it was every race you can imagine, every age, but kids. And to listen to them talking and how they respected each other's, I'm sorry,
Well,
this is what the world needs.
certainly you're
we
right.
need kids to step
You're-
forward because they're
You're
our
right.
future. Maybe not
This
mine.
is what
'cause
the
I'll
world
probably
needs.
be
But if you
dead.
believe they're going to change
Yes, they are
400
gonna
years
change. Yes,
of
they are.
racism, you're out of your mind.
Well,
you're out of
they're
your
trying
mind.
to. It's older people.
They're-
Just what
we're
they
all
said.
trying
it's
to.
older people that want to keep it going.
We
They're
are all
give them a
trying
chance.
to.
Let them change it.
I'm giving them a
That's
chance.
what
I'm
they're
not
trying
out
to
there
do.
stopping them. I'm not out there throwing rocks at them. I'm not out there with rifles
They do
rebelling
this in
against their
Montana for
march.
years. They shoot people like that, and
Well,
it's
that-
horrible what
there's
they
no-
do there, and they get away with it. And it's not minorities they shoot. They just think they can shoot people.
Well,
and
I think that the difference in this debate that you guys are having right now is
give these kids a
No,
chance.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Pump the brakes. Here's the thing. Carol is right, and she's inspired in seeing these young people out
I
there,
am.
and nobody is against that. And we're all supporting the young people in this hopefully
We're all
movement.
for that.
But what Alpha is speaking on is a historic thing that has happened, and there's no question there's a high level of police brutality against people of
Okay,
color.
see, I agree with how you said
That's
that,
right.
but
Yeah.
one of those cops that shot that kid was black.
Well, they're assholes
So
too.
to me,
they're
they're
cops.
Black
just
women,
cops.
they're
cops.
This is
What
all
don't you
over.
understand?
I'm from Montana, and cops are the same way there. They just
I'm
kill
from
people
Chicago.
and they get away with it. Yeah, and what
Now
the
we got our
kids talked
credentials
about
out of the way.
Chicago, how it's just ignored
Damn.
how these shootings. They keep what is it? They were talking about how they just ignore it. They go, and us kids that have to live in those places, they go, it's hell. These kids talk. There's some kids that were sitting at this thing talking about where the areas they come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them. They try to make you join their gangs. And they
Yeah.
go, it isn't cops in those gang areas killing them. It's them killing each others. And that's what these kids want to see stopped.
Right.
I mean,
I'm
listen
from
to when he
Chicago.
plays these speeches, listen to this one white kid.
Well, let me
He's
ask.
going to talk about it.
Okay, hold on a second.
And
hold
play
on a second.
her. Let
Wait,
people
I'm gonna
hear
play
her.
it. I'm glad we got 2 hours. Slow
Yeah.
down. Just take it easy. But here's the thing. Let me ask Alpha and Chris a question. And Apollo, I know you're there. Hang on, buddy. I'm gonna get to you in just a second. But I think we got to dig into a couple issues here, and certainly you can chime in at any time. But there are two people on this show in Chicago. Chris lives in the Bronzeville area, which is northern south side of the city. And then Alpha, you're on the south side, right? You're in part of the neighborhoods
I'm
where
in
the
West.
problems.
I'm in West Inglewood.
West Inglewood. Okay.
Can you find any about more to get killed in West Inglewood than West Inglewood? You let me know.
Well, okay. So let me ask you a question. There's no question that there's gun violence and all kind of violence, gang violence, and just stupidity violence in the city of Chicago. Not all over, but in specific neighborhoods. My question to you two who have been born and raised there in Chicago, do you feel that the local officials, the police department, your mayor, et cetera, your aldermen, are doing enough to curtail the violence in Chicago?
Chris?
I hear cricket.
I'm going to ask you to go first.
Oh,
No, not cricket.
You gonna let me go first?
Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, okay. Here's the deal. They would love the killing to slow down, but anytime you have all of the killing going on, and pile upon that the I would say the criminality
Mm-hmm.
of the Chicago Police Department and the killing that they're doing. And when I say the killing that they're doing and how they get away with it, you can't expect these young people who are absolutely devoid of common sense, morals, and the whole 9 yards
Mm-hmm.
to act any differently. They are in a environment of desperation. They're just on the hustle. They need to make it. They need to. There is not the opportunity that their counterparts have to make money, to have a gainful employment, so they can to make a living wage, so they can live. So they turn to the hustle. And once you've turned to the hustle, and once you turn to that lifestyle, you are going to get caught up in this nonsense. The availability of guns just on the outstretches of the borders of Chicago feed into the frenzy and into the killing. There's a money making proposition. If you saw the number of guns that are being brought in by the case and sold to these gang members, you would have a different view. But when you have police officers shooting and killing unarmed people and nothing's being done about it, I would say no. The officials in the city are not trying to do enough. The Malcolm X Project tells you that every 40 minutes, a black man, woman, or child, unarmed, are shot and killed by police, vigilantes, or rent-a-cops. And that goes on every single minute of the day.
There's no
Chris?
there's no question that it is a problem in many of our major cities around America, not just Chicago.
Yeah, it's
And
here.
yeah, it is.
It isn't the cops. Here. It's the gangbangers killing each other. They kill kids every day, and
It's the
it
gangbangers
isn't.
here.
It isn't the cops just doing all these killings. It's the gangbangers. I
Yeah.
mean, they you see 2-year-old kids here shot in the head and shit. So
Yeah.
there's more of that than the other. You know what I'm saying? Listening, he's going to play something after everybody's done, and listen to this kid from Chicago, and he's right. He said they don't give enough resources to Chicago. They don't put what they need to put in schools. But see, even more is getting to be ready to be taken away from the schools.
Chris, what's your perception of what's going on there? Are the cops
It,
and the mayor doing enough?
no, they're not. In order for a lie to work, it has to be shrouded in truth.
Mm-hmm.
And my point is, when you have to create a narrative, if you are the Chicago Police Department, the mayor, you need a good guy and a bad guy. You need a good scenario and a bad scenario. Angels and demons, white hats and black hats. So here in Chicago, the black hats have always been the south side and the west side of the cities. And so when you create that narrative that, don't get me wrong, the narrative is true, because these guns going to neighborhoods, just not flying into these neighborhoods. Somebody's funneling the opportunity for the guns to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, but you take out the ability to have jobs, the ability to have after-school programs. Case in point, let's go back in the 60s when Fred Hampton Sr. was shot tremendously through his apartment, through his doors, through the whole apartment, to the point where they put a string throughout like 100 bullet holes. It looked like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
He was taken out because the community was about to grow, and when you had after school, in fact, they had like before after school programs. They fed children for breakfast, and then after school programs they fed them too. Because once again, not every household has the resources to feed their children. When you do that and positive things, and COINTELPRO, when you put drugs in neighborhoods from coast to coast and destroy black communities, they go to violence. They go to guns. They go to hating each other. And that's what happens. So when you're the police department and you have this narrative going on, you don't want to solve the problem. You want to put a Band-Aid on the problem and not cure it. And that's the issue we had for years. They don't do enough because they do not want to do anything. They just keep it steady because, once again, go to the press. You have the press conferences. Well, we put 25 more people on the spot, man hours, and we train them. But you're not doing enough to take care of the problem. What we need in the communities are more jobs. What we need in communities are more after-school programs. That's what we need to get a start. But you won't do that because that's too much like right.
Well, there are some people that believe that the establishment, the local government there in Chicago, are intentionally doing nothing to let the people in the community kill themselves off, and eventually the communities will be minus of a lot of people, or people will move out because of the fear factor of so much violence going on. Then what happens is communities like Inglewood, where Alpha is, will become abandoned. And people will walk away from their homes. And there are parts in on the south side and west side that is already happening and has been. The buildings and now vacant lots because the buildings were dilapidated. They tore them down. Now they're vacant lots, and what used to be 10 homes in a row, it might be one here and 5 spaces, and then another house, and it's about ready to go. So there are blocks and blocks in these neighborhoods where there's nothing there anymore. Now, what's going to happen? Eventually, the city is going to come in and take over these properties, this land, and rebuild. And there will be new communities where old communities used to be. And this is happening all over America. It's not just isolated to Chicago. It's happening in Detroit, Cleveland, and other major cities around the country. So this land that's there on the south side that's being abandoned because of the violence and just there's nothing to keep the income coming in so they can keep the homes will become prime property. Listen, think about it this way. Okay, Alpha, where you live to the Loop, how long would it take you to drive in?
I want to say I don't know, Lee. I haven't been downtown in over 30 years.
What?
Damn.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? I haven't been downtown. There is no need for me to go. I went downtown, and when I say I haven't been downtown, I mean as like a destination. I had to go down there for a traffic ticket.
Okay.
And get this. I went down to 321 North LaSalle to the traffic court.
I know exactly where
Lee,
it is.
when I walked in the door, there were a bunch of people walking one way, and there was a cop standing there, and he stopped the traffic coming from the other 2 directions. If I was walking north and south, they stopped the traffic from east and west. That's how many people were walking in those corridors, and it was like a freeway.
Wow.
And 90% of the people in the crowd were black.
And these were,
when I say
these were various
I'm
traffic or parking ticket
Well,
violations?
maybe they shouldn't
This
have
was
cops
right.
then. Maybe we should just not have cops.
Why would you say that?
Well, people have.
Richard
not
Pryor
all
said it
cops
best.
are
You want
bad.
justice. That's
Not
what
all
you
cops
find.
are
Just
bad.
us.
There you go.
And sometimes I feel like people think they're all bad, but they're not all
No,
bad.
nobody said that. Well, nobody
Nobody
said
said
that.
said they all bad.
You know,
No,
I don't think
I've
they
got too
care
many
if people
friends
kill
that are
each other's
cops.
in certain areas, and that irritates me.
Well, that's what I just
got
I
too
just
many
Yeah, I
pointed
think
friends
that
that
out.
are cops.
irritates. See, the cops sit back and they don't care.
That's
And
part
that's
of the
what's
You know,
problem.
if you look at
wrong.
statistics,
That's
though,
what's
if you look
wrong.
at crime statistics, white people kill white people. So when people say
They
black
do.
people are killing themselves, that narrative is bullshit. Because
It is.
if you
Absolutely.
white people
Absolutely.
are killing white people, if you go into see, you guys are in urban areas. You get in the trailer parks of Oklahoma and Tennessee, them trailer trash white folks are killing themselves.
Yeah.
They
They
shooting
kill in
themselves with
proximity.
shotguns. You can buy an AR-15 at Walmart up until about 2 years ago, till they finally. But I mean, you still go to Rural King or some of these little department stores. I can walk right in Rural King, which is kind of like a Tractor Supply that got married with a Big Lots, and you can walk right up there and buy an AR-15 over the counter in about 5-10 minutes.
Wow.
So I mean, and why should I? How can I? Why is it not? Why does any human being need a gun that can shoot 400 to 600 rounds per minute? I don't understand how that's protected under the Constitution. I think Alfo or Lee or anybody on this conversation should have the right to have a little snub-nosed revolver in his nightstand just in case somebody comes in his house at 3 a.m. But he don't need to shoot 600 rounds.
I agree with
people
you,
kill in
Apollo.
proximity.
I totally agree with you
People
too.
kill in proximity. If you
But I
live
think
around
that's
black
what
people,
they're trying to
that's
get
who
rid of.
you killing. Black people.
And-
White people live around each other. They kill white people.
And I live
It's
in a
that simple.
multicultural neighborhood, mostly seniors on my street, so
So you killing
know.
old people.
I ain't killing nobody. But to but to Carol's defense about the young people, in 1776, James Monroe was 18. Alexander Hamilton was 21. Nathan Hale was 21. Marquis de Lafayette was 18. Aaron Burr was 20. Henry Lee III was 20. They were just a bunch of kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these were our founding fathers. But, you know, it's probably because back then their parents weren't coddling them and feeding them soy milk by their single mothers. I mean, they weren't coddled and you know, I mean, there was a much different time.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, it
they
was.
were a bunch of kids. So kids can bring about change if they can stay focused. It's
Absolutely.
just that as long as their iPhones and their Twitter accounts don't. Because really, these kids today, I don't know if they got their long game. They're not triathlons, they're sprinters. And I think they're going to lose interest because they're going to stop and get a 99-cent Wendy's Baconator on the way home and get lazy.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
they in
why
it
I'm
for-
afraid of that as well. I hope this is a movement, not a moment.
I don't think
Yeah,
it
it is
is
a
a moment.
moment.
Walking with these
I mean, it
kids
has been.
and listening to them, no. These kids are very serious.
I
and-
hope not, because the
and-
millennials
and
are some
to
of the
be honest,
laziest.
I'm just saying,
When the new iPhone come out, they're going to forget all about, oh, shit, the new iPhone.
See,
now.
I
Okay,
didn't
we're
grow
done
up
with
in
that.
California, so I seen a different thing than what a lot of you've seen. I seen the opposite with white people being killed by cops and white people killing each
Yeah,
other.
me too,
So
Carol.
My
Me
race,
too.
they just hated. I'm Native American. They just hated me. I wasn't allowed in your house, and
I was called a
I've
nigger
lived
lover
this
all
life,
through
too.
my teens.
Yeah.
So I
The
come
cop
from a
told
different
me,
world.
you damn nigger lover, you going in jail with them. You running with them.
Did they lie on you? Did they
You
lie
see,
on
that's the
your
kind
power?
of cop you don't
Oh, yeah.
need.
No, you
You
don't.
don't need that kind
Well, I
of cop.
couldn't do nothing, you
But
know.
here,
And
you
then
got,
so you know me, I didn't date nothing but black girls after that. I'm gonna piss all y'all rednecks off. I'm gonna have some little mixed babies run around here.
But
Then
my
you-
point,
But
my
here
point,
in
Apollo,
California,
is that they
Hispanics
called you
and
those
blacks
names
fight.
because you said it was the police.
It was a cop.
I will submit to you this: the Ku Klux Klan should be labeled as a terrorist organization. They have
Yes,
not
they
been
should be.
because they have infiltrated the judges, the policemen, the politicians. You name it, they are at the
well,
highest level
because there
of
was some
our government.
There were some very good people in that group, Alfo. You know that. Some very good people
All right.
It's
on
funny.
both sides. Very good people.
Yeah, now you're sounding like Trump.
It's funny though.
No, I'm
that's
just-
what these
I'm being
kids are
facetious.
trying-
I know.
This is what these kids are trying to change. Is they're trying to change this. When he plays these kids speaking, listen to them.
Yeah, we'll get
this
to
one
that
kid
in a
is
little bit.
I
one
heard
kid
them.
is from Chicago, and he's telling you how they need
What I'm
more
saying
stuff.
to
there.
you, Carol,
no, let
is
me
I've
finish.
heard them.
It isn't.
And
where
I
I'm
did
from,
let
it
you
isn't
finish.
Just it's white people being
Where you're
killed.
from and where
I
I'm
grew
from
up
are two
there.
different places.
Well, I'm just telling you
Yeah,
my
yeah.
experience.
Montana
you
and
have to
Chicago are
understand that.
different
I have an
worlds.
I understand
experience
that. Nobody's arguing
too,
against
but
your
I'm just saying
experience.
I watch the stuff here, and it's a trip. It's like to make a story short, I met this guy at the beach, and I'm actually going to meet with some people to try to do a story on this. We have an area called Venice. We didn't always have
Never
gangs
heard of
there.
that.
They were surfers, but they ended up making them gangs because they came in from other areas. So this guy recently, what happened is they put like a gang patrol in Venice. They started confiscating gang people's houses that they owned. They took their houses from them, moved white people in, built mansions. Well, guess what just happened?
Gentrification,
It went
Carol.
to court
Gentrification.
and all this. Do you know these people get their houses back? These people that bought these
They
houses
should.
for nothing? And I'm so
But they
happy
raised the
about
property-
this, 'cause
they raised the
I am
property
let me
value so high they
finish.
can't
I
afford
am
the
a Venice
taxes on it.
person. To listen to this man, when I first met him, they were trying to take his property. He owns all kinds of properties in Venice. He's Hispanic and Hawaiian. And he'll tell you he was a gangbanger. He had no choice. He was a surfer. I know most of his surfer friends. They're all professional surfers and that. But the joke is they made gangs. So they removed the gang patrol. It's this. You're going to hear about this soon because these people that built these mansions and bought these houses for nothing, they've been like Snapchat came in there. He moved stuff that we've had there for years and years, like the freak show. Well, guess what? He's gone now. They managed to get him out. He took over 25 places, took things that people come from all over the world to see. People come from everywhere to walk down the Venice border. The white people and rich people, and I'm not just going to say white people, rich people have been trying to change this. It's one of our biggest tourist attractions. People come from all over and they want it to, well, guess what? It's not happening now. Snapchat is now gone. He came in like a real jerk. He's probably becoming one of the most hated people around. He took over landmarks. I mean, I never went into the freak show. All the years I've lived here, I never went in there. But to people, that really bothered people.
And that's gone now?
It's coming back.
It's coming back.
Yes, because he's out of there. They got he came. He took parking structures where he made them private for himself, where people could come out there and park. He did a lot of things he tried, but it wasn't just him. It's like a church they recently have been trying to take over, a black church that's in Venice. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's
Because
good. The
these
people
people
are pushing
stood
back.
up to them. They
That's
were
good.
taking their houses. Legally, you can't take a person's house because they're a gangbanger. Sometimes people don't have the choice but to be a gangbanger because if your kid goes to those schools, they will mess with your child. So it's either join and that's a lot of people that have been in gangs because I am Venice. And it really bothered me watching them try. They took projects that were there,
So
and
let
they
me ask you a
supposedly were remodeling them. Well, guess what? They made them really high rent. Well,
course.
that's not going to last now.
Well, it's beachfront property, so it's
Well,
just the way
Venice
it goes.
has always been
Well,
Venice.
now, let me
and-
ask you.
yeah.
Now, see, I was not
Go
aware
ahead.
of the gangbanger situation there in Venice.
Oh,
so
it's
these
bad.
guys were legitimate gangbangers. Were they acting in a violent way?
He became a gangbanger. He was a surfer. They were all surfers.
Okay, and then
But he became a gangbanger because the gangs from another area was coming in there messing with the surfers.
So they went into a protection mode.
Yes, they
Okay.
became gangbangers, and they're just trying to protect their little city. But all that doesn't happen now. They just want to be left alone. Let Venice be the boardwalk it always was. Don't take history from us. And that's what the wealthy were doing. They were managing to buy these properties because the police were confiscating their properties that probably came from their parents that owned it before.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's a gangbanger, it don't mean you can come in and take their house.
Well, it does,
and they've been doing
But
it.
that is
Yeah, it
our
does.
law.
The new criminal forfeiture laws.
Yeah.
They
Well,
can
they
take
lost-
your shit,
they
and
lost.
you
They-
never have to be convicted of a crime. They can hold it, and you have to go to court and prove that you're not
Well,
a criminal.
they
I mean, they can come right now and take my house and say we suspect you bought this house off drug money, but I didn't. Well, you got to prove you didn't,
Well,
and
they
some people
proved it.
can't prove they.
They proved it.
Well, if they
This-
did, they
Well,
got
that's
it
good.
back then,
This
right?
guy, I'm going to
that's
actually
good.
see if he'll come and talk on
Yeah,
radio.
have
I
them
think
come
he'll
in.
be interesting.
It is an
because,
interesting story because
he-
I had never heard of
Their
that.
asset forfeiture laws are
He wa-
absolutely
he-
shocking.
You
Sometimes
know what he
how
told
they can
me,
just
too?
come take your stuff.
with the
Exactly.
shootings that are happening, he said he went into T-Mobile and he bought all these phones. They thought he was crazy. And he gave them to his grandkids, his kids, their friends. He said, now I'm going to program these. If something happens in your school, you just push this number. It's all set up for you.
Right.
And we'll be there.
That's good.
Because he said, we can't continue to let this happen. He said, it's obvious the way like the police, they have gangs. Look at the police today.
Of course.
There was one that just got caught. You know what he was selling? Guns. It's on the news today. You probably haven't.
How do you
heard it
think
yet.
drugs get into the prison?
He
No.
was
Oh,
selling
wait a
it.
minute. Wait a minute. I mean, on the
They bring
news,
it.
where'd you see it at, Carol? Because I
It was
didn't
on
see
our
it.
news today in California. I get
Local
up early
news?
and listen to news.
The local news.
It's all over. It's
was
all over
got-
the news,
got
Chris.
caught.
I was just checking, yeah, because
Yeah,
all over the
it's
news, I
not
could find
fake
it where
news.
it was.
It wasn't fake news when I told you
No,
about the
just say it
guy
was fake
before you
news.
even
I
knew
just
that
didn't know
got
where it
shot
was,
20
that's all.
times.
Yeah.
So
When
a
I
cop
told
was
you
selling
guys
guns.
that, you all just kind of let it slide
stop
over
it.
you at the
Tom,
time.
no
It was on the
name,
local news
no,
here.
no area.
So
no,
I'm just telling you, it was on the
You
news
know,
here
just-
today. They caught a policeman that's been selling, I think assault guns and
Pasadena.
that. We can pull it
Okay.
up.
Officer illegally
And they,
sold more than
he
100
will
Okay.
be going to a federal
Pasadena cop.
penitentiary,
Yeah,
they
no
said.
name, no
That happened
information,
March
no nothing.
2nd, though, when that actually happened. Pasadena. Police officer
Where-
illegally sold
No,
more
this
than
is
100
one,
guns.
yeah, they've been a few of them that got caught here. We actually had a gang that were policemen in the Latin areas because we have gangs called Cypress and the Avenues.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Cypress Gang and the Avenue. They're nobody to play with because you don't come in that city thinking you're going to sell your drugs.
Yeah.
They sell them, but you're not going to
Insane in
sell
the
them.
membrane.
That's
But-
typical gang.
Insane in
They
the
had
brain.
a gang of policemen that were gangs.
Of course. I mean,
They-
that's,
they were
that's been
gangsters.
going
Baltimore
on
has
forever.
a
Oh,
gang
absolutely.
of policemen. Chicago has a gang of policemen. The ones
Tupac's
in
murder.
Baltimore and Chicago have been arrested.
Yeah, I mean,
They were taking the
it's
drugs
been
from the
going on
drug
for years.
dealers.
Yeah, they got to get rid of these bad cops.
All right. Let's.
And the
switch up.
military's full of gang members that
Oh,
go
of
in there
course.
to get military.
Yeah.
You
drugs.
can
Right.
get any drug you want in jail.
Well, how do you think? they
And who
get
you
in
think
there?
They
brings
come
it into
in through
jail?
the cops
Thank you.
because
That's right.
the people, they
Yes.
need money.
Okay, we got a couple of people that have been on hold here for a minute. I know Donald. Donald, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Welcome to the show. What you got going on today?
Well, I wanted to pose a question earlier, and you guys have moved on since then.
Well, what's your question?
Pose it anyway.
Concerning, and please forgive me if this is a dumb question, but it's something that's been I've been thinking about, and it's this: how is it word is spread whenever a demonstration or a protest is going to occur in however many cities? How is that word getting out?
There you
And
go.
Why?
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Why doesn't it reach? How is it that sometimes it can get by a lot of people? For example, the protest about guns in the NRA that occurred here a couple of days ago, and they were showing in different cities where there were a massive, there was a mass that gathered in a particular area, and whatever city they decide to display. How did that word get around and still missed so many people?
Social media.
Social
Absolutely,
media.
social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Our news tells you here. I don't know about other states, but our news does let you know there's going to be a protest.
Well, yeah, but that's the general information that gets out there. But before that
Social media
even
is
hits the
definitely-
Just word of mouth.
yeah, word of mouth, social media.
With social media.
Yeah. I mean, these organizations have.
And
a
who is the
database.
caller? Who is the caller, Lee? Because is he a broadcaster or a journalist?
No, he's not a journalist. He has a website called smoothmixes925.com. He's based in Chicago. He does like a mix show of R&B and jazz music.
Oh, he just sounds like a journalist. His delivery, his voice. I thought he was a journalist or a
Yeah,
broadcaster.
that's Smooth Donald.
He didn't say or hi. He was. I just thought he was somebody from TV or something.
No,
Or from-
no. He's just a regular guy living in Chicago. All my Chicago dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think when you see things like this, nowadays you don't go to a radio station or a TV station and get a public service announcement because they don't exist anymore. It's not walking around passing out flyers from back in the day. It's social media. So an organization, let's say the NRA, who has probably a couple million members, if they want to mobilize and get something out and about and create a protest or whatever, they can do that just in their database. They don't have to publicize it even in social media. But then once they hit up all of the people in their database, then that 2 million people will go out and blow it up on their social media. So that's probably how those things happen. And these kids that came up from Florida, bus loads of kids went to Washington, D.C., they're all over social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms.
That's where you find everything now.
Yeah, that's how they get the word out.
That's how I find everything.
Don't have to spend a dime.
Actually, I think people even set private planes for some of them. Put them on their planes.
Sure. So, yeah, that's how those things kind of come about nowadays.
So social media is quite powerful.
Absolutely. Why do you think the damn Russians bought ads on social
just
media?
As Cambridge Analytical.
Right. Why do you think they
Cambridge Analytical tells you everything you need to know.
That's right. We got Honey on the line also. Honey, what's going on? Val? She probably put her phone down.
I just think cops need to have, when they shoot somebody, that they should, like the mother said, the grandmother, when she talked about her grandson being killed, why couldn't they have shot him in his leg or his arm?
No,
and
because they're taught to shoot to kill.
And it just bothers me because they do go after minorities for some reason.
And 20 shots turned into
Hispanics
a
get killed
target
every
practice.
day out here by police too.
Yep. Target practice, that's what that was.
Yeah,
that's why 20 rounds went off.
It makes me sick.
We have an opportunity to shoot a human. Let's do it.
You got to play his grandmother and listen to her on the news.
We're gonna
makes
get
you
to
cry.
That. Val, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Good
morning, everybody, or good afternoon.
Welcome
to
the
Hey,
show.
how you doing, Val?
Hi.
I'm doing good. Thank you. Look, I'm not going to take up much time. I just wanted to comment on what you guys were talking about earlier about the black-on-black crimes as well as the police shooting black and browns. So we all know that there's white-on-white crimes and brown-on-brown crimes, and everybody's killing everybody. The problem in the black community is that when let's say a police officer kills a black person, we're the first ones to jump up and protest and holler and hoop, which I understand, but there's still a problem with black-on-black crimes in our community. So I always tell people, if your son or daughter gets killed, is it better that the police did it? I mean, is it better that someone the color of black done it versus a police officer? Do you think that mother's going to care when she gets that knock at the door and you tell her child is dead and, well, a police didn't do it, a black person did it? Because for some reason in our communities, we overlook the black-on-black crimes, but we're quick to point out the police killing us. And that's a problem for me. So I think that's why we hear so much about black-on-black crimes, and I hope that makes sense.
It does.
With that being said,
No.
It
It
does.
really
Val.
does.
No, it doesn't.
Now, with that being said, Carol,
Yes.
I understand where you're coming from, my sister, but we don't hear about the police killing white people. I'm gonna tell
No,
you
you
something.
don't. But it does happen.
There was a white boy who shot up a black church in South Carolina, and they took that bastard to Burger King. We don't even get in the damn car to get to Burger King to even ask for it. So we're getting killed on a daily basis.
I've been in jail before because when I lived in Montana, I didn't have to do nothing. They just came and picked me up. Supposedly, I was there at this place, but I wasn't. So
Yeah,
a lot of times when I sit on here, when you come from a place like I do, it's what I seen in real racism, how racist these white people were that were there, but they kill each other all the time, and they hate Jewish people in Montana, they hate blacks, they hate Indians more than anybody. I guess because we killed Custer. I haven't figured that one out. But they would always pick me up and put me in jail.
That's messed
And I'm
up.
not a crook. I'm not a person that does, but they always put me there. They've tried their hardest to put me in a reform school. So I tell people I come from a different place than people, so I've seen another side of it. And like when Apollo talked about Trailer Park, they shoot each other all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Cops
but see,
shoot them too.
And they do, of course.
we don't hear about
every
it
day.
But see,
We don't hear about it.
No, we don't.
No, it's not publicized to the same degree. But here's the thing, and I was just sitting here listening to everybody talk about their point of view, but I think it's all the same. because where you came from, Carol, in Montana, with the reservations and the white people there hating the Indians and what have you. There's not too many black folks in Montana.
In Great Falls, because we have an Air Force base.
Yeah, but they don't count because they're transport. They're from somewhere else, so they're not local people living there. And then when you look at a city like Chicago or my hometown, Norfolk, Virginia, there were most of the cops were white. I lived in an all-black neighborhood, Lindenwood, and there was Huntersville and Park Place, and there were a number of black communities in my hometown that were middle class, the upper middle class, and some poor neighborhoods as well. So I think the basic idea is the same. If you are living in Montana or you're living in Chicago or Norfolk, Virginia or Charlotte, North Carolina or Cleveland, it's really all the same. The establishment, the white power, has control over all of it. And that, my friend, is changing. And that's why so many Trump supporters are crazy. Because they feel like they're losing their power and control and the power of money. That's what's going on. It ain't nothing. It has really nothing to do with anything except power and control.
And see, they don't like it that these kids are all standing up to them because these kids are, most of them are already 18, turning 18. These kids are not going to stop. I can guarantee you. I go to these protests and I was so enlightened
I
at
pray
this one.
that this is a movement and not a moment.
This is a movement to these kids. It's a
really
movement.
Do.
That's what they called it.
And that's why I want to get on this show every day and try to inspire people to register to vote. Young people, if you don't like what's going on, if you want to bring about a change, it's up to you. I'll be 68 years old in May. I have been out there marching, protesting, registering people to vote, going door to door, knocking on the doors to explain to people the value of the candidate that I think they should support. I've done it all. I've seen kids get shot in the head in the restroom playing crap. I've seen it. I've been there. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to go down into the restroom at the boys' club in St. Louis, Missouri, and see a 16-year-old kid laying there on the floor with blood gushing out of his head because he was shot in the head over a crap game at an event that I put on, charging $1 for these kids to come in to have a good time, to dance, have a good time. I took the proceeds of that night and gave it to that mother who lived in the projects in St. Louis, Missouri, because I knew she needed help to put that child in the ground. It wasn't a lot of money, a couple $1,000s. That's all it was. But I thought that was the least that I could do. And you know what? I stopped doing those dances because of that. Because I didn't want anybody to say that I went to a dance that Lee Michaels put on and my child was killed. I couldn't live with that. It wasn't about the money. It was and it wasn't. I needed that money to pay rent and do the things that I need to do to take care of my family, but not at the expense of a child being lost. So if you've got any kind of conscience, any real red blood in your body, that you care about anything of value, if you think life is dear and there's nothing more important than life, I'm saying life, period. Don't matter what you are, who you are, what your sexual preferences are, your color, what part of town you're from. I don't give a damn about any of that. If you want to live and you want your kids and your grandchildren, if you want people to have an opportunity to succeed in this world, then stop the violence. Get involved. Be a part of this movement. You think you can't shut down the NRA? Bullshit. It's only a couple of million members. But you would think they were bigger than the federal government because of the influence that they have over our government is frightening. It's like they've got a gun to the heads of all of our congressional members. Even some Democrats have taken money from the NRA. Blue dogs. But these are the problems that we have. And there's a simple solution. Change the government. Vote these people out. Vote them out. If they're not doing what's in your best interest. Now, I could be speaking to some people right now that are on the right-hand side saying, yeah, well, you know, the NRA supports what I believe in. And what is it that you believe in? Do you believe that you need an arsenal in your home to protect it? You need to go get some psychological help. That's what I say. Now, most of the people that have performed these heinous acts of killing kids and shooting up schools and churches and all that bullshit, and it is bullshit, is what it is. What do they say about him? Oh, he was mentally, challenged. He had some issues. Kid. He was a nice kid, but, he was kind of a loner. And no. I'm sick and tired of hearing about the mental status of somebody.
And if it's a Muslim or a black or a Mexican.
They're terrorists.
Yes.
Exactly. I say all of them are terrorists because they terrorize communities.
Right.
They terrorize and kill people. So, the label of being a terrorist, fine. They are what they are. You can't sugarcoat that. This boy down there in Florida terrorized those school kids to the point where they're marching around the freaking world. That was terrorist. That was a terrorist act. You can't sugarcoat that. But what he did was woke up a sleeping giant. Young people, do not stop. Keep this movement, turn it into a movement. If you don't, it's just going to be another Sunday around the world, and a lot of people showed up. Kumbaya. November 6, 2018. That's this year.
I don't think they're going to stop. I think they want to prove
that
they can all vote. And
I'm going to assume that they still need encouragement. And we're going to continue to encourage them every day.
Well, I did that yesterday.
Don't forget.
My client. I told her, well, you got to sign up. If you don't think you're registered, you need to do it.
How can they not know if they're registered or not?
I don't know. Sometimes the people are wealthier. They don't pay attention.
Well, that means they're not registered. If you don't know if you're registered or not, you're not registered. So take the guesswork out.
They got people. I have people
forms.
calling me to find out if I'm registered. I go, I'm registered. They go, well, are you? And I go, I'm a Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there are even registered Republicans that are fearful. Now, I guarantee you, many of those kids that got on those buses, planes, cars, whatever, and went up to Washington, D.C. from Florida, all of them are not Democrats. I guarantee you. I know that area too well. I lived there. I campaigned in Florida. I campaigned in Maryland. I campaigned in Illinois, Virginia, Missouri. So I've seen a lot of, and even here in California, Northern California and Southern California. So I've seen a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people. I know how people think, and there are regional differences. People down there in Florida, it's a mixed bag, and they kind of go with the wind. Right now, there's a blue wind over the state of Florida because of this asshole that shot these people down at that school. Florida should be a blue state in this next election because of that event. Now, it shouldn't be motivated by that, but we'll take it any kind of way we can get it. Because for the most part, now I have some issues with some of the Democrats as well. I do have some issues with some Democrats. Some Democrats are just not spot on. And maybe they need to be voted out. But I like to see the spirit and maybe some of these young people that are coming out now to take the initiative and be a part of this movement. Make sure you got a clean background so they can't throw rocks at you. And sign up and run for some of these offices. If you don't want to see this stuff going on anymore, then be a part of the change. And that's how you do that. And One further piece of advice. Once you get in there, don't lose sight of what motivated you to go in. Don't become corrupt and be a part of the status quo. Now, I believe that there are many politicians that run and maybe have a good heart, and they want to bring about change, and they get in there, and these old heads get in there and convince them that, no, man, you can't vote that way. Not right now. We'll get to that down the road. They kick the can down the road. Bullshit. Bring about the change immediately. Donald Trump is making changes left and right. Not all good. Most don't make good damn sense. This guy is one IQ level above a moron as far as I'm concerned. And we allow him to get away with it. He plays smart, but he's dangerous. He can't even get a lawyer to sign up to protect his ass on this Russian investigation. Why? Because his credibility is spoiled. Who wants to be associated with this guy? Many of the law firms that have turned down the opportunity to represent him, to be a part of his legal team, are claiming conflict of interest. Yeah, conflict of interest is your credibility sucks and you want to kill mine. I'm not going down that way. That's the major reason. Yeah, they may have some clients that would create a conflict, like some clients that don't agree with you, Mr. President. And it would be not in my best interest to represent you and then lose these clients over here that are completely opposed to your positioning. That's the conflict, folks. Don't get it twisted. This is still all about the money. Now, Donald Trump obviously doesn't have enough money to offset the possibility of staining some good lawyers' credibility. That's powerful. And we still don't know what this man's worth is, if it's really important. Obviously, it's not.
Oh, he's worth a lot of money. And let me tell you why. Even without seeing his taxes, he's worth a lot of money because he's been laundering mob money from Russia for the last 13, 14 years. When he could no longer get loans from banks in the U.S., he immediately took it on the road to Russia. The mere fact that he's been getting his money from Russian banks, and what's the name of the bank?
Deutsche?
And,
not Deutsche.
Deutsche. He's been getting, yes, the Deutsche Bank. The Deutsche Bank, they have allowed him to set up so many LLCs or island banks that he has money stashed away in each and every one of those banks. And as he funnels them, the man came to Trump Tower to buy 2 condos. He ended up paying cash for 5. That's money laundering. That went into the court, and the court said it was money laundering. Did Trump stop? Hell to the no. He continued to do it. When all of this smoke clears, you will find that Facebook, Cambridge Analytica, Roger Stone, Lucifer 2.0, the WikiLeaks boy, Julian Assange, all of these people, the Mercers, they're all in their little group. Breitbart dead. So when you talk about Breitbart, you're talking about the Breitbart name. But Steve Bannon has as much influence in Cambridge Analytica and in Facebook. You see, this Facebook boy, when he took $200 million from the Russian oligarch, Putin's boy, and from the Russian bank that is on the sanctions list, where do you think all of this money is coming from? This is oil money from the Russians. And when you get to that point where the Secretary of State, that, don't forget now, Trump never met him. And he turned him into the Secretary of State. Why? because he was the CEO of Exxon, who cut the $500 billion deal with the Russians.
Right. And then he fell
Now-
out of good grace with Trump. Now he's out.
Yeah, but see, he fell out of good grace with Trump. Was just an excuse.
Yeah.
They wanted to move him out anyway because the new CEO of Exxon is coming to the State Department asking for an exemption on the Russian oil deal. And Mike Pompeo is going to give a nod. Even though he supposedly hates Russia, he is on the Trump agenda, and Trump will either get the okay from him or he'll fire him. No one survives. Either you fall in line, we fall in love, they fall in line. They do, regardless of what their beliefs are, they take marching orders, and that's what they do.
All right. Carol wants to play some of these videos, and unfortunately, I can't play the video, but we're going to play the audio from them because Facebook, when I try to bring the link into our system, it's jacked up. So
Okay, before you guys start, I'm going to go because I got to head that way.
okay,
I
all
just
right,
wanted to call in and chime in. You guys have an amazing show.
all right. Val is on tonight at
Take
8
care,
p.m. Pacific time. It's called Honey's Closet. You guys want to tune in for that? It's always fantastic, entertaining.
But you're saying it.
informative.
I'm sorry, you're saying it wrong. It's not Honey's Closet.
I'm sorry. You know it.
You just say it this way.
Go ahead and
Honey's
correct me.
Closet.
Honey's
Honey's
Closet.
Closet. Right, there you go.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, you're right. That's the way it's pronounced in her theme song. You're absolutely right. I apologize for not getting that on point. Before we go to the video, welcome to the show. Who do we have on the line?
How you doing, Mr. Lee? This is Ali, San Diego.
Hey, Ali. Is this Ali?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ali 3 times.
Yeah, the one that think about you since back in the 80s, man, when you was on the radio, L.A., man.
Oh, no, you don't go back that far, do you?
Yeah, man, I'm old school, man, but I just wanted to let you know, man, I really appreciate what you're doing, man, and trying to at least get people to give a chance to have a voice, man.
Absolutely.
But I also want to tell you that, a lot of us, we, they say, so-called black folks don't read. We probably don't, because a lot of the stuff there's to read are lies. So black folks don't want to read no lies, man. You know what I mean? And also, there's a Bill of Rights for the police department. And a lot of us don't read that at all. And we get upset and ask ourselves, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Well, if you read the police Bill of Rights, you won't be shocked and you won't be surprised no more when you see, like you said, Mr. Lee, they are out there to kill. And that's what their Bill of Rights say.
That's what they're
to
taught.
kill, and then they're investigated by the police.
Yep.
So that's in place. And we have to do more than holler, scream, and wonder why. Like you said, we got to run for something. And I'm going to tell you, I tried to run for the mayor of San Diego back in 2013. And I was trying to run to make an example for my people to say, look, all you got to do is live in your city, have $200 or $500 in some places, and get 200 valid signatures, and you can run for mayor. You didn't have to have held no office nowhere else. You don't have to have no big old IQ and school education, any of that. You can get out there and run. So that's why I ran. But when I tried to run, Mr. Lee, none of the people helped me at all. And then as soon as I lost and didn't get on, they started complaining about who was the mayor. So our people need some education on how to not be jealous of and envious of somebody that's trying to go out there and make a difference and change. Because I'm gonna tell you, like you said, I would have stuck to my guns once I got in the office. I would have made a change. They'd have had to kill me because I would have helped my people.
Well,
so that's what we need. That's what it takes. Somebody that's willing to die.
Right. You got to have that kind of a commitment and hold true to it. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just a part of the same old, same old.
That's right.
You're part of the problem. You know, Donald Trump ran on part of his platform was he's going to drain the swamp in Washington D.C. Well, you know, there were some alligators in there, and there was some polluted water, and all of the corruption that was going on. There's no question about that. He was right on, spot on that issue. But he didn't drain the swamp. He's not draining it. He's bringing some more polluted water into the swamp. He's bringing in bigger alligators, and it's still a swamp. It's a swamp on steroids now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. And like I said, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm glad you're still alive.
Thank you.
And in good health, man, and keep doing what you're doing. I pray for you every night, sir, because we need your voice right now more than we did on the radio.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God bless you, and keep praying for me, brother, because I need it. And I'm
don't
praying
stop.
for you too.
I'll never stop.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
I feel your blessings.
Yes, sir. Love you, sir. Take care.
Love you too. God bless. Well, that was very encouraging because, you know, sometimes you wake up and you go, damn, why am I doing this anymore? Is anybody really paying attention? Does anybody really care? What are you whispering at?
It's Taco Tuesday. We haven't did that in a while.
What are we talking about?
I just got hungry.
Okay.
It's Taco Tuesday.
All right. We'll
Chris
do Taco
Spade
Tuesday.
calls up. Alpha, I'll be there in a second. Give me 2
Chris
seconds.
Spade. No, I can't wait, Chris Spade.
Okay, I'll be there at 2:00 p.m. Central Time.
We used to do Taco Tuesday.
Lee gets this great accolade from Ali, and he's basking in it. And also, we got goddamn Taco Tuesday. The hell?
Well, I thought I'd
You're
heard something
hungry.
cheerful for a minute.
God.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, that was
makes
cheerful.
me feel
The
better.
accolades that he was receiving, but I don't know.
Do you have Taco Tuesday in Chicago?
It's
Yeah,
Taco
Pepe's.
Tuesday every day there.
At Pepe's, he $1.29 a taco, okay?
Yeah,
we
he's
got
right
it on
about that.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. We got Taco Tuesdays. We know what the hell going on.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Oh, God. I'm hungry too, but
I looked
that
at
was a
Lee and I thought,
curveball.
Taco Tuesday.
Okay.
I got a new kind of taco a couple of days ago. My daughter-in-law brought home from the bowling alley. She brought a new taco, Lee.
What
It's
is it?
called a Thanksgiving taco. That mug had turkey in it. It had dressing in it,
Oh, wow,
It
that
had-
sounds great.
and it had some type of green vegetable in it. But
Some
it
collard
was
greens?
topped with cranberries.
Was it
topped
hard
with a
shell or
slice of
soft?
cranberries. Soft shell,
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
and it was topped with a slice of cranberry sauce.
Yeah, now we're
And
talking.
that damn taco was good. And them,
Yeah, I
them
get that
sons of
turkey
bitches
sandwich
gave
and
me
honey
one.
baked like that. Ugh, now I'm really hungry.
That sounds good. Okay. Okay, I'm going to play this audio here before Carol has a conniption.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about Taco Tuesday.
All right, so stand by here, folks. Here we go. We're going to listen to the audio of the family of Stephen Clark speaking here. Hold it, that's not coming out right. I hate Facebook. Facebook sucks.
Is
Why
that
is it
funny how
doing
they're
that?
sabotaging these kids? They photoshopped and made it look like that little girl tore up the, what's that thing? I can't even think of the name of it. But they made it look like she tore something up that she wouldn't tear up. Bunch of grown people acting like, these kids act more mature than they do.
Yeah, right?
Especially Jesse, if you go on his page.
Let me see here. Why is that echoing mess coming back? Oh, my goodness. All right, let me work on that, folks. We'll get that audio straightened out. What the hell are you guys laughing at?
You know, a good place for tacos here. If you guys come out here.
That's my guy,
What is it? Nachos
Man,
tacos?
when I got
Who?
that from you,
The one
I
Josefa
said,
goes
this
to.
ain't Chris Spade. It is.
Nacho
Oh, yeah.
tacos.
Nachos.
Chris
Oh
Spade
my
is a
God, they're the
church
best tacos.
No.
They are
I don't
good.
know who said that.
All right, listen, we can't have three conversations going on.
I sent that only to guys. I wouldn't dare send it to a woman. They would
Well,
take
somebody
it
has
wrong.
50-cent tacos on Tuesdays.
Okay, there they go.
Where is that?
On Kerrville, John Lewis.
John Lewis.
I think that's what he's saying. John Lewis, Lee, we have 50.
Oh,
on
all off
Tuesday.
that's down in Texas.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
50
we better
cent
go
tacos.
there.
No, that's you'd
He
spend
doesn't
$800.
eat them though. You see, I'm the one that he orders the enchiladas,
Yeah, I
which
like
aren't
enchiladas.
on special.
Yeah,
I'm a
chicken
I'm
enchiladas,
cheap.
beans, rice, a little
What can
salad.
it do with Texas?
John, that's where John lives.
Yeah, he said they have 50-cent
Yeah,
ones.
but we're in California.
Right. No, I think he was just pointing out that they've got some low cost tacos.
Oh,
down there.
Andrea, it's Taco Nozzle.
Taco Nozzle.
Oh,
yeah.
you guys, if you ever come here, you got to eat their tacos.
They're good.
Oh my God, and their ceviche. It's amazing.
Yeah,
And that
I'm
sauce.
not a fan of that. Yeah,
I like ceviche.
yeah.
What is ceviche?
So a lot of people make it with fish and shrimp, and it's
I
it's a
can do
Latin thing. You put it on a hard shell, or you dip with
Yeah.
it. My daughter makes it.
I'm not a fan of that. Give me my some chicken.
They don't
or,
call it seafood
Have
tacos?
you ever had the shrimp one there,
Yeah, the
Oh,
shrimp tacos
or
are
the
good.
fish one?
And the fish
Maybe
is
we're
good.
gonna have to drive out there one day.
I ain't going out there. That's
Why?
too damn far.
You know what I haven't had?
But
A lobster roll.
they
Oh.
have those in our trucks here.
Oh, really?
Yes,
You know, I have not eaten off of one of the trucks here in California
I thought
ever.
we did when we went to Brian McKnight.
No, that's right. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
we
yeah.
ate that, but
yeah.
that one wasn't that great.
Yeah, it was okay. Just okay.
It wasn't the real good one.
Yeah. Why can't I get this audio to play right?
I don't know, but I'm starving.
Hey, Lee, when
now.
you went to, we were trying to go to your audio on your end. Now you sound kind of low, like you're away from your mic.
Oh. That's only to you guys, the feed. I thought maybe that was the problem, but it wasn't. Okay. You hear me better now, right?
Well, that's much better, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's, I don't know what the problem is here, because it normally works. Why, oh, why?
Well, he gets here late now, so he doesn't get to test things out.
Well,
I was
shouldn't
sitting
have to.
outside in the hot
The show
sun.
come on late.
In the hot sun in my car. Last time I
Turn
sat
the damn
outside,
air on.
I called Joseph. I said, "Do you know where Lee is?" He was in bed sleeping.
That's right.
I'm sitting here waiting and waiting. Where's this Lee?
And
Are
Carol,
you-
you know how to recline the seat, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
but
right,
it was
turn the
hot.
air on.
I
She's
had
cheap.
already walked.
Turn,
I got up.
you
and-
you won't turn
She won't turn her
you
air
don't turn
on.
the air on?
No.
No, it
She's
costs,
cheap.
I'm cheap.
It what?
My light bill was only $37 this month.
Oh, that's
No,
That's
you
how
disgusting.
cheap I
say
am.
aren't you sitting in the car?
But, no, I don't turn it on in the car that much because the dirt comes through and I have asthma, so I have to really watch
We got to clean
that.
the air filter for the cabin.
Well, supposedly they put a new air filter
Well,
in.
you got to stop going to these jackleg.
I'm not going to
people.
him anymore. I'm
Yeah.
through with him.
Yeah.
I love it when he said they drove by and shot up his place. I go, yeah, I can see why. Give me a gun.
That dude's a rip-off
He was so
artist.
upset. I can see why, because you're such an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Stop
gonna
ripping
s-
people off.
You're going to sit here and put down American Jewish people. We'll go back to Israel. That bothers me when people make fun of our country.
Mm-hmm.
Then why are you out here? Go back to your own country if you have such a problem with us Americans.
Well, that's a good point.
And you do hear that a lot. Haven't you heard that a lot?
Yeah, I do. I hear it from time to time. I just ignore ignorance. You know, get my blood pressure up over that kind of stupidity.
No, I just tell them, well, why don't you go back where you're from?
Mm-hmm. They're not going to do that. They just want to be hypocritical and bitch and bellyache and moan and groan and all that.
Because in a lot of countries, they could never say that or speak up like that. They don't have freedom of speech and things that we have.
What
Look
is
at
it
that
about-
guy out here, that family, what they did to their daughter. They put hot oil and burned her. So she went to the police.
Those are called pride killings.
No, she's out. She's alive. They try to make these kids come out here because I had a Japanese friend. Her parents, she had to marry this guy, and he was an abuser. But she divorced him and moved away from her family if that's how they felt.
That's
What's the name of
crazy.
that song?
You
One
can't
night in
pick
Bangkok.
somebody's husband.
One night in Bangkok, when they tell you, go back to your stinking, polluted towns.
Massage parlors.
Yeah. Get tired. You're talking to a tourist whose every move is among the purest.
Good line.
We got another caller. Welcome to the Lee Michaels Show. Who do we have on the line?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Lord have mercy.
How is everyone today?
We're doing good until you call.
I don't know
you
whether
took
to
the
call
words
you
right out
Lord
of
or
my
mercy.
mouth.
You're real popular around here. You know that? Hung up.
No, I was reading his comment on our page.
What did he say?
I don't remember now. I was looking at Jesse's stuff.
Just
too.
so y'all know, anybody new tuning in, I call him Lord have mercy. And
He's a nice person.
yeah, he's a wonderful guy. He's just well, let's put it the way it is. He is Chris's friend.
Where's
What
Chris?
that's supposed to mean?
He's your problem. You
It
brought,
went-
you
okay.
brought
All right.
him
Come
in
on,
here.
come on and say it.
He's your boy, not my boy.
Okay,
He's-
let's
he's
get
really
something.
not a
Let's get
bad
something
person.
straight.
Okay.
He's a caller of mine when I was over at UBM, Urban Broadcast Media. He would call into my show. He's originally from Chicago, and he is the Joker to my Batman. He's a nut. I give him that. He knows he's a nut too.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You know, I would have changed.
But he's a good
the-
guy, though. He really is.
Did you see those women, those Caucasian women, were talking about the prostitute that reported Trump?
Yeah.
So they're sitting there. They go, he would never have to. You have to look at these women. I love it. A friend of mine just came in and she said Republican men pay for sex too. Because
No,
these women were
absolutely.
acting like their husbands don't buy sex or don't have mistresses on the side. They're the worst.
Well, okay, Lord, are you back? What? Oops, sorry. Lord, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We were just
Okay.
teasing.
Yeah,
No,
we were
my
messing
cat
with you.
walked across
I
the
was
phone.
teasing. I don't know about Lee.
Oh no, he knows me.
Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, unfortunately. Yes.
I said my cat walked across the phone. I'm always
Oh.
on speaker.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't,
Oh, what type
it
of
wasn't
cat do you
personal
have?
Until that boy statement came out your mouth again.
What kind of cat you have?
Pick a cat.
What kind?
Pick a cat.
I
Pick
don't
a
know.
cat.
You have a tabby?
I said pick a yes, I have several tabbies.
Oh, you have a couple cats.
You got a house full of cats, huh?
You don't remember the conversation we had about cat litter?
No, I don't.
Carol, yep.
I
'Cause I
clean
told her-
mine. You would need.
You
Leo
were
tell
telling
you
me
would
how
not
you
even
could-
know I have
you-
cats. There's no
Okay,
smell
you told
in my
me you
house.
could not control your cat's odor. And I told you what to get. I said it works because I had X amount of cats.
How many do you have?
Well, as of this morning, I got 40.
40.
Oh, you
Some
feed.
food dropped a cat off with 4 kittens.
So what do you? How can you have that many in your house?
Because they're here.
Oh, see, in California, you're only allowed 3 pets in your house. I clean
That's why I
my
live out
my
in the
litter.
country.
You'll
I
never
can
know
live
there's
as
a
I
cat
want.
in my house, and
I'm
I
not in the
clean
country,
them.
but the thing is that somebody messed up and we got stuck with these because they did not get certain cats fixed when they should have.
So
And after a while, the places have had what is that disease that the cats have, and you can't happens.
It's called pussy.
You got to get a
It's
shot
called
for
pussy
it.
lamoma.
No, there's a cat and dogs can get it too.
Worms?
That's
So
why
you
don't let
didn't-
them
you
go
didn't
out when they're
spade-
when they're
you didn't
puppies. You don't let them
spade
go
or-
out touch the ground.
you didn't spade or neuter none of these cats?
Again, that was a mistake. That
Oh yeah, because
I
your house must be
responsible
bad because you can't get that smell out when they spray.
was spray. You got to be on it.
They spray.
You
They
when
pick up their
spray, you
tail
just
and it
can't
wiggles
only
and they
spray the
spray.
court. Oh, look at that. My cats are fixed, number one. Number two, I'm here all day long. I have several little boxes. Okay? You ain't getting no smell coming out of my house.
With 40 cats, that's a lot of cats. How big's your house? I'm curious.
Never
You
said
sure
they
you
weren't.
ain't nose
Never
blind?
said they weren't a lot of cats.
Cats are great, though. My cats are great.
Do you have a
There was a
sign in
lady
your
here who had 100 cats.
Do you have a sign in your yard that says "Pussy Galore"?
Are you in there selling pussy?
40 cats. That's
Oh.
a lot of cats, man.
My friend's brother did that, but
Yeah,
they
it
cleared
is
them
a
out.
lot of cats. I keep telling people.
They're not ferals?
No, they're not feral.
Oh.
How in the hell am I have a feral cat in my house?
I have
wait
a
a
friend,
minute, wait
he
a
has
minute.
a feral cat in his house.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Oh, no, they're all sociable.
And how do you come about these cats? Do people like just bring them and drop them off? And say, hey,
I
man.
cannot tell you that story. You must hear that from my wife, Cindy. Like I said, it was not my fault.
Oh, okay. So
Take a picture and
your
send
wife
it
is
to
running
us.
the cat house.
Take a
Take you a
picture.
picture of what? All my cats?
Yeah, take a picture. I want to see.
Why
this.
would I give you a picture of my house?
Okay,
Send me a
but
picture of your house.
I'll send you a picture of my house.
Okay, then you send me a
It's
picture of
always
all
on
your
my-
rooms in
my
your
house is always
That's
on
what
my
I got to do to get a
Facebook.
picture of these. Want a
I
picture of my
just
house.
would like-
What's
Wait.
your name again?
Lord, hold on. Put your wife on the
Too
phone.
late. I'm talking to her now. Come back here, sir.
Oh,
Where you
Lord.
at?
Go ahead, talk to
Picture
her.
of my
I
house.
post
No,
my
wait,
when
there
you
is
see my
no way
cats.
you're gonna
That's
get
my
all
house.
these. I mean, you
post
don't
it.
even know if I'm moving them out, but
I
why
don't
would I
want
do
40
that? Why you want
cats,
to put
though.
my cats?
They might eat
You want me?
you.
You want
If
me to
you
see your
die in
video?
your house,
I
they will
would trust
eat
you. I'll
you.
see your video instead of picture.
They will
That way
eat you
you-
if you
Wait a
die in
minute,
your
Carol.
house.
Carol, damn it. Why are you going there?
They will. If he dies, his cats will eat him in his house. They will eat him.
He ain't gonna lay there long enough for that because his wife
Chris
is gonna throw
Page.
him out with the trash.
Okay.
That's all right.
Oh,
See,
shit.
when Lee's
No.
talking about me and Lord, see, that's his girl.
Yeah, he's got a
Jeez.
lot of pussy cats. 40. How many of them are kittens? I'm curious.
They're all grown.
Oh.
Except for the litter that came in.
So that
today.
must have been
Except for the one that
expensive.
arrived this fucking morning.
Let me ask
On
you
a
a
bloody-
question.
on a
If they're all
bloody
around the
towel.
same age, that must have cost you a
2:01
fortune.
p.m., you'll receive a call from Anwar Muhammad.
Now, wait a minute. Well, before y'all start killing each other, Lord. Okay, so your wife started this venture.
No, my wife made a mistake. See, you keep wanting to get me to tell you something that I can't tell you. Stop that, please.
Well, put her on the phone.
Okay, let me call the prison from here and put her on.
Yeah, do a three-way, and maybe we can talk to some of the inmates as well.
You cannot do a three-way from a prison. Ever. Do you not know that?
You don't think those
No, I don't
convicts
know
get a
that.
three-way going when they call
it
somebody?
ain't gonna do no three-way. And if it is, it's gonna be recorded.
Is she a
Completely.
warden?
But wait a minute, she doesn't have her cell phone? You can't call her on a private
You
phone?
can't take no cell phone in a prison.
Okay, I don't know.
So
what do I know?
Is
Are
she
you
a
trying to test
warden?
my wife's integrity?
Is that what they
Is that what
are
you're
in
doing?
prison?
Yeah.
A warden?
Is she the warden there at the prison?
No, she works in records. She's head something in records.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, at some point, maybe one day, is she off on during the week? By chance? Because we have had her on the phone once before.
That's because I was ill.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you let her talk.
Well, she should
You're
be there
still ill.
today because you're
Okay.
right. You're ill now.
Right.
She should
What's
be
the
working
difference?
from home.
I tell you what, I'll get into it and I'll have her call in for you.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm
Sure.
really curious about this cat thing and how it started, and you guys have ended up with 40 cats in your house. And you're the only male
Okay.
in the house, right?
I'm gonna tell you how. Okay.
Tell us.
We had 11 cats.
How'd you get to 11? Because that's still a
Shut up.
big
Listen.
number.
Listen. So we had cats separated. The males that were not fixed, they were in the basement. I mean, the fixed males were in the basement.
Okay.
And
Were they having sex with each other?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Well, if they have
And we
babies,
had
they
a
would
problem
have.
with 3 of the females. So my wife.
Homosexual
went to
cats?
They couldn't have babies.
That was Top Cat.
I'm just going to stop. I'm trying to explain to you. You're not
Now, my cat, one of my cats likes people.
Oh, here we go.
Carol, stop it. We're trying to figure out how this son of a gun got 40 damn cats. Okay, go ahead. So you had 6 males in the basement, and
No, I
what?
had
And
males, not-
five females
no.
upstairs.
So I had fixed males, not 6 males. You got it now?
Okay, go ahead.
My wife had 3 cats that were misbehaving, so she put them in the basement. They were not fixed, so we were going to get them fixed, so we put them in the basement, the unfixed females with the fixed males, okay?
Yeah.
You got it?
Oh, they had an orgy.
Party.
Well, but okay.
right.
So you got fixed.
Listen. So one of my cats wound up missing, and my wife did not know what happened to him. And so she said
Somebody
he
was eating
escaped.
pussy.
Well, she said
they
he
did.
escaped. All right, fine. So about a few weeks later, she says there's 3 cats down there pregnant. Okay? Well, how are cats pregnant if they're all fixed? That cat she was looking for has been hiding ever since we fixed the cats. and his name was Chicago Mikey. It was a black
All right.
cat. And he went inside all 3 of them.
So you thought Chicago Mikey was fixed, and he wasn't.
She thought he was gone. Okay?
Well, he was
and
gone.
He wasn't. He was tied, shit. That's what happened.
He was laying up in the corner with his feet up in the air saying, "Oh, damn, that was good." So there were
That's all right there.
3 unfixed females in the basement with Chicago Mikey the pimp.
Yeah.
And he had his
And,
way with the 3, and then from those 3 that became pregnant, how many offsprings came out of that?
I don't remember exactly. It has to be 111.
Damn.
That's a lot of kittens. None of them died.
No.
Hey, Lord have mercy. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you also have food downstairs in the basement with the cats to eat?
Oh, yeah, no, we let them all starve, you know.
No, answer the goddamn question. Don't fuck with me. Answer the
like
question.
you
Did you have food downstairs in the basement with the
It ain't
cats?
like you fucking me up or nothing, my brother. What, you want to take it to the line? Because we can't take it to the street.
Dude, this is why I don't like your ass no more. I asked you a simple question. You want to get smart ass with me. Answer the goddamn question. Did you have food down there in the basement with the cats?
Yes. And water.
All right, then. What I'm trying to tell you is that when you had the food and the cats and the sex, you created, you and your wife, a cat Caligula.
No,
That's what happened.
No. I will not take that fucking blame. That wasn't me. You know why? Because when it happened, I was recuperating from my hip replacement, and I couldn't walk down the steps. And I had to walk down on crutches to go see what the hell she was talking about. Ha! I got out of that one, boy. Yep, that wasn't my fault.
You live there, don't you?
I wasn't on dick
It's
duty.
your house too, isn't it?
I wasn't on dick duty. That was her.
It still sounds like cat Caligula.
You ain't lying. I know why he was tired all the time.
Well,
I'm tired.
But we're out here in the country, and a lot of people have these cats that are sociable, and we're getting rid of a lot of them because they can work out here.
So, okay. So
We don't have shit coming through the lab under the covers. We had maybe a mouse. We had a mouse and a mole to try to make it. It didn't get far.
You shouldn't have no Mises with 40 goddamn cats.
They
Really?
don't get far, my brother. Okay.
I can't probably just look at the mouth.
yeah,
That's why
Carol's,
everybody got mole alarms around their property. Ain't no mole coming in here. They got questions about the grounds.
yeah,
Because the dogs patrol the grounds.
amazing.
See, my
Amazing.
cats would probably make friends with the mouse.
Yeah, your cats are too domesticated. They ain't real cats.
I mean, a dog came in
They're
my
just
house,
pussies.
and my one cat reached out to touch it and then smelled his behind.
Chris Space.
So my cats are...
Anwar Muhammad's on the way.
Hurry.
That's a lot of cats, though. That's too many.
Yes, but believe me, it couldn't happen if I wasn't working, if I didn't have the schedule I have.
You must have to buy a lot of food.
That's, yeah, about $200 worth a month. Food litter. Yeah.
Now,
And when they fall short, they just eat
Don't
pussy.
fall short. I never fall short. We'll fall short before
Well,
they
that's
will.
not that. That's a good option.
And if
Okay.
we do,
You lose a lot of weight.
Have to open the door and say, "Go get it. It's out there."
now, what do you feed them? Dry food, or
Yeah.
only?
And they're all indoor cats.
What does that mean?
They don't go outside.
Okay, so
They
I mean,
don't go outside.
you don't feed them
If
like
I let them
wet
out,
food?
if I want them to disappear, I let them outside because we have raccoons, wolves, coyotes, cougars that will probably eat them.
There you go.
Yeah, can you hunt the coyote there in your state?
No, you can shoot the shit out of them. You ain't got to
See,
hunt.
we can't.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. See, you're in the city. You keep thinking I'm in the city. I am not in the city.
But
I'm
we
in
have
town.
coyotes in the city.
Yeah, I just saw one last
Yeah,
night.
one just killed a cat in my building. But I don't know why the people let their cat out when you know there's coyotes.
But see, that's the city. See, I found out something too, which I found out late. They have a boot law here for your cats. See, people don't go to the vets. The vets here don't make money till people like us come out here, especially to get them fixed, because they got what's called the boot. They get a kitten and a puppy. They put his ass in a boot and cut his nuts and let him out.
Who cuts his nuts?
You hear? Did you hear me?
The vet don't cut them?
No, I'm telling you. Damn, the people don't pay. Did you hear me? The people do not pay for vets.
Well, that's horrible.
They,
What if
now,
they
if
cut
they
a
buy it
man's
off
nuts?
market or something, but if they got a puppy or kitten, look it up. Look it up.
Wait a
That's
minute.
terrible for human
wait,
nuts.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. You know, I'm a little slow, but are you telling me the pet owners are not circumcising, but denutting them?
Yeah.
No.
D-nut.
No,
Yeah.
they are not doing
Yes,
that.
sir.
What kind of animal is that?
Cindy tell you about she grew up like that.
So do they stitch them up at least?
No, they just let them go because they're small, because they're little, they can heal faster. They don't do it to a grown cat. A grown cat will bleed to death.
See, my cat had some big ones, and he was just a kitten, so I couldn't see somebody doing that to him. I'd have to cut their nuts.
Oh, he was just a
I'm
target.
gonna have to have Anwar do both of us, Alpha.
You are.
But I guess with 40 cats, so obvious you've neutered your own cats, is what you're saying.
No, we have organizations that help.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go to the Humane Society and they'll do it for real cheap.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then you got to make sure.
They do it for a less price. It used to be cheap. It ain't cheap no more.
Really?
Hey, listen, where is this? Somebody was talking about a law in, was it Florida, where there's a law that black people have to look down if a white person walking past?
Yeah, still on the books.
Where
Are you
can I
serious?
find that?
That's
Where can I
horrible.
find that?
That's what, like being in the.
It's on their books.
That's like in
legal
the Middle
books.
East. They're not allowed to be
What
above
do I look up?
royalty.
Do I look up Florida books or what? Come
That's
on, talk to me.
horrible.
You know what? I'll get my buddy Andre on the phone and get him to tell you where you can look up these laws. But yeah, it's probably on online.
But that law don't
Yeah,
hold
because
up.
I was talking to a girl who's actually a fucking Trump lover in Florida, and I was asking her, how could you even talk about the white people when they have this on their law? And she's kind of, calling me a liar. I said, hell no, I heard this on the Lee Michael show. I know I ain't no liar.
No, that's true. Let me call Andre now. Hold on, let's see if we can get him. But he lives there and he's on top of all these kind of things, and we talked about this on his show a few years ago.
Are you serious? They have.
Yeah.
I just can't believe the things people have done to people.
Wait a minute, you're Native American. You don't know anything about these laws?
Not where I'm from. I don't know about that law.
You'd be
Well,
surprised.
you know
I know
you're
Native
female, that's what it
Americans
is.
at one time you couldn't You had to ride at the back of the bus, and they always say
You
we
remember
were
you didn't have a
drunk.
vagrancy law or nothing like that?
Pardon?
A vagrancy law? Meaning if you didn't have no money on you, a certain amount of money on you,
In
you
Montana,
were
they're
vagrant?
like that. If you're don't have money or it is a vagrant, you can get arrested. But any
Yeah, but
race,
you have-
white
you
people
know
can
that's
get
just for us,
arrested too
right?
there for that.
That's just for people of color.
No, it's for
Meeting on the
everybody.
corner?
It's for everybody.
No, it's okay. Okay. I used to think like that. I really did. Until Trump came about, I realized that a lot. They talk about Farrakhan. You know why? Because Farrakhan saw this coming when I was in high school. He sent troops to our schools to talk to us about what the white man was doing and what they was going to do. Now, all these areas with these problems these kids have, they need to open up their damn mouths.
Well, the
Because
joke
it's-
is, though, why did they kill Malcolm X when he went to the Middle East and he seen that all Muslims are not black? They killed him when he came back here, so...
Okay, we talk about
not
Farrakhan.
what
No,
I
I'm
feel
just
about
telling
Malcolm
you,
X.
when you talk about Farrakhan, because at one time in California,
Okay.
Farrakhan, you couldn't even go in their restaurant. That's how they were.
Oh, really?
Yes, you
I
could
don't know nothing
not go
about that.
in their restaurant.
Oh, you mean you just can't go in there being a non-Muslim?
If you look like me, you couldn't go. No, if you weren't black, you couldn't go in their restaurant.
All right,
And that's
guys,
a
hold
known
on,
fact.
hold on a second, because we're just about finished with the show. But I got Andre Egliston on the phone here, who is a talk show host and a scholar on bullshit in Florida. Is that correct, Andre?
And culture.
You got it.
Andre, tell us about some of the crazy things that were or are still on the legal books there in the state of Florida.
Well, people can go back and they can check this shit for themselves. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say shit. Are we on terrestrial radio?
No, we're on the internet, so shit is okay.
Shit is okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, there was one law. The one that hurt me the most was, I remember one Christmas, we down in Florida, right? So they used to dump ice on the ground, snow. They bring in snow. They truck it in from
Okay.
North Florida. Or they make it, get it from Atlanta, bring it down or something. I don't know how they got the snow. But they would make a big pile of snow that was probably about 5-6 feet tall, because it was taller than me at that time, and I'm a little kid, about 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember running to get in the snow, and my aunt that raised me said, "No, baby, come back, you can't get in the snow." And it was years later that I found out that black children were not allowed to get in the snow. That's one law.
That was a
that they had
law.
on the books. It was a local ordinance.
Yeah.
The local ordinance. No black children could get in the snow when they bring it down for Christmas.
Wow.
Okay.
That's horrible.
But that's probably the worst one to me as a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But some of the more jerkish, horseshit laws they had at that time. If you looked at a white woman for too long, you was charged with reckless eyeballing.
Yeah,
That's
where
no
can
shit.
I find that?
What was
Look at a white woman too long, you charged with reckless eyeballing.
what kind of horse shit is that?
No, that's reckless eyeballing. And they
Where,
didn't
where,
play
where
about
can
it.
I find this, sir, so I can send it to this chick, this Floridian who knows, this Trumpoidian that keeps bragging.
These are the
looking
Jim Crow laws
stuff's
of
balls.
Florida. I can
I just
barely
want to
hear
give her this
Yeah.
as a black person.
In the
How do you
background.
feel?
Yeah. Yeah, he's on. You see, I got you on my cell phone, so you're not going to be able to hear him too well. But okay,
Oh,
these
I
are
got you.
these
Don't
are
have
Jim Crow laws that he's reciting. Now, where can these be found?
Go on the internet, Google Jim Crow laws of Florida. That's
Oh,
it,
hell,
and you'll see
hell.
every one of them. Jim Crow laws of Florida.
You got
I'm
that,
on the
Lord have
radio
mercy.
live.
Yes,
I'm here
I
with my
do.
agent. I'm on the radio live, but that's okay.
Yeah. Did I catch you in the middle of something there, Andre? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's okay. I'll stay for a minute.
No. Actually, that's all I needed from you because it is at the end of the show. But I want to bring you on from time to time to have you come in and talk about some of the political landscape and the financial projections and what have you. Because I mean, Andre has written books on the Federal Reserve, and he's a credible guy, and we got to get him on the show more often. But thanks, Andre, for coming in to share light on that.
Is that Andre the Hunter?
Yeah, that's Andre the Hunter.
Appreciate your dog, boy.
You okay, buddy?
All right.
Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, Andre is a hunter. He has all kind of guns, but he does not have an AK-47 or 15 or none of that bullshit in his house. He's a hunter. He has bows and arrows. He's got a Jim Bowie knife or 2 or maybe 12. I don't know. But he's got shotguns and guns that use for hunting. He hunts deer, rabbit, squirrel, and all that bullshit. I went hunting with him one time. I couldn't hit a squirrel to save my life. But he don't know. I was trying to miss. Okay. I was trying to miss. All right, folks.
Well, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that as a kid. You didn't have that bloodlust, that kill.
No, I couldn't hurt the little squirrel, man. Come on. I'm just that guy. That's who I am. All right, folks.
You ever go out deer hunting with a knife?
No, I can't deer hunt either. He shot a hog, right?
Bear, Gene. I didn't say deer.
Shut up. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. It's time for Axis Activists is next. If you want to know about sickle cell and what have you, go to our website, thepowerofvoices.com. That show starts now. Thank you all for joining us today. Tomorrow we'll continue this conversation and talk about the young people in America that's redesigning the future. And we have to be here to support them. God bless. We'll talk to you tomorrow.